Hello, folks, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe Chunlove. Let's talk about AEW Dynamite last night, as it was an adventurous show, to say the least, as we are a couple weeks before Wembley, all in, and it's fair to say the show kind of fell flat. Now, there has been woes as far as travel is concerned, as far as North Carolina, and MJF made it notable, tweeted out that his flight was canceled, so instead he had to drive about at least 10 hours to make the trip, and kudos to him because he had a hell of a match with Kyle Fletcher, and that progressed that match with Will Ospreay for Wembley, but after that, the show didn't really have much substance, and it's weird to see because there's been rumblings about AEW, and I don't want to make it sound like an excuse, but you wonder just how much it affected them, because some solid matches on the card, it's just, as far as the excitement and intrigue level, it didn't feel there, really. But, yeah, we also saw the return of Hook, so great to see. But, yeah, the show after MJF and Kyle Fletcher really kind of was like, and that's weird to say couple weeks before Wembley, but we shall talk about the things leading into Dynamite, which who knows how much it actually affected the morale about Dynamite, but it's certainly worth knowing. So first, the noble thing that came out AEW, or about AEW last week, was Britt Baker MJF situation. So Alicia Atal, MJF's girlfriend, who has been recently hired by AEW. She's been with AEW, I think, for a number of weeks now. She's been doing interviews and done a swell job. So they're together, and of course Britt Baker returned that Forbidden Door. She's obviously a key piece as she's set to face Mercedes Moné for the TBS Championship at All In. So apparently, due to the reports, Britt Baker was not happy, or didn't play well about, or I should say, didn't speak well about MJF and Ospreay, and Britt Baker apparently said something about MJF and got wind of it or said something to Alicia out just hearing the reports, but apparently got wind to MJF and MJF was not happy. Didn't confront Britt Baker, I don't think, or anything, but certainly was a noble situation and Britt Baker was suspended. Hence why we didn't see her on the show last week after Mercedes cut a promo with Camille. Now, we did see Britt Baker back, well, via satellite or video after Camille. I will say it's good for Camille to get in reaction, as she is the heavy for Mercedes. But in terms of how this, I mean, at first it was doing well to try to get people invested with the attacks and whatnot, but as far as reasons as to why, feels like they're a little not there. But yeah, Britt Baker returned via video and said stuff about Mercedes after Camille's handicap match, which she was victorious in. Yeah, so I'm not sure how much that played part in morale. The other thing which has been discussed is the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon and Rey Fenix. Now, the former AEW Tag Team Champions. Now, Penta and Phoenix, two of the best wrestlers in the world. Certainly, now, AEW does have this partnership with CMLL. So, you know, they've been going through these, more of these luchadors, but you realize that Penta and Phoenix, it doesn't really get much better than them. Now, we have not seen them much lately. I believe their last big match was the Trios Titles match where they lost, or their last big match was when they lost Trios Title match as Death Triangle versus the Bang Bang Gang. So there's that, and then I believe they were part of Rio Mexico with Pac, but we have not seen them as much. It's now there's reports that they're on their way to AEW, which you know, it has its pros and cons because the Lucha Brothers are two of the best wrestlers in the world, and they could be very much helpful whether on their own or as a team. They're just that good. However, we also know that they have issues because their style a bit with injuries. It's like that's how they lost the AEW Tag Team titles to Jurassic Express. When Phoenix got hurt first against Luchasaurus. And it's also part of the problem with AEW. We've seen a lot of stop and go, stop and start, and that's tribute to the big roster they have. Is too many times we see guys, have pushes and then kind of not so much. If you're not one of the top guys in AEW, and it's certainly been weird because they are a part of arguably the best match in AEW history. Them and the Young Bucks at All Out in 2021. That steel cage match where they won the tag team titles. Now, their style, first of all, it's funny when you see reports of them going to WWE and some of the critics that were downplaying their style are now all happy, or some things they do, because they are also a problem of, or show a part of the problem of what is with AEW, and that is they're non-selling. And the thing with, if they go to WWE, they're going to have to learn how to feature in the WWE style, which is not all that different, but certainly different. Now, as far as a tag team, it's like, okay, they've been tag team champions. They've been trios champions with Pac. That triangle. So, and they had that great best of 7 with the Elite for the trios championships. Now, we shall see, because, Lucha Brothers as a team have basically done all that they could do as a team in AEW. And now it's certainly interesting to see how they do in WWE. As a single or as individuals, you certainly would like to see them be more incorporated, because they're very good on their own. But nonetheless, hope for the best for Phoenix, Penta going forward. It'd certainly be upsetting for AEW to lose the Lucha Brothers, but the thing is, they have teams. They just need to make the tag team division feel important again with booking, because it feels like since the Young Bucks and their creative power over the tag team division was kind of dwindled, the tag team division has kind of suffered as well. So, we'll see. We'll see. But as far as Dynamite, like I said, so travel issues, yes. MJF, Kyle Fletcher, great open. So let's talk about it. I thought it could have been the main event. I get it why it wasn't, but I think the show would have felt better. Now, yes, Bryan and Swerve had a bit of a promo after to close the show, so I get that. But I think people would have been a bit more satisfied if MJF and Kyle Fletcher closed the show, but nonetheless, it's a very good match, very good open. MJF, Kyle Fletcher, I mean, both these guys, in their mid to late 20s, two of the best. Kyle Fletcher, kind of feels like he's still finding his groove as an individual, as Mark Davis has been out with injury, but Kyle, only 25, and he's shown he's one of the best wrestlers in the world, and we'll see. So, but yeah, this is a hell of a match. MJF targeted the shoulder of Kyle, then went back into the crowd, fought a bit there. The finish match, though, so Don Callis was on commentary. Of course, Kyle Fletcher is part of the Don Callis family. So, Callis distracted the ref and went to throw the screwdriver in the ring for Fletcher to use. And Fletcher looked conflicted. And ultimately, he opted not to use it, and was his downfall as MJF hit a low blow, kangaroo kick, and a brainbuster. 1, 2, 3. And MJF won. There was a funny moment to start the match as MJF said, if you don't lock me, if you don't tie up, like, collar tie up and wrestling to start, if you don't do that properly like a man, he's gonna ship up out of there. So, and then they started the match anyway. So, but yeah, MJF won, continued to beat down on Kyle. Kyle was bloody, and Will Ospreay made a save late. That's the thing. You hate for these saves late. And in the end, Ospreay was late, and Ospreay was dejected as his friend, being down, hurt, and he had Kyle's blood on his shirt. I will say, funny enough, by a fan in the crowd said, if you're a fan of South Park, he said, "Oh my God, they killed Kyle." I mean, yeah. Even though the saying is, "Oh my God, they killed Kenny." Yeah, but it was certainly hilarious. I'll say, but yeah, great opening match between those two. Kyle Fletcher, very bright future ahead. Then we have Mariah May versus Viva Van. Decent match, but primarily a squash match. Mariah May won here with a Storm Zero. Got the win on the right outcome. And then Mariah May was presented with a gift from the crowd. Unboxing, apparently it was a portrait of her and Toni Storm. And if you saw those Edge and Kurt Angle segments with the pictures and having messages on the back, yeah. So the crowd got wind of it, and then Mariah May turned the portrait around and said, "Die, Mariah, die." So ultimately, she turned around and Toni Storm was there, ambushed her again, had a heel and a shoe, tried to do what Mariah May did to her when she won the Owen for the women by busting her up. That was not the case, as Aubrey Edwards and officials held them back. Yeah. This was good, I will say that, as far as building to their match for Wembley. Yeah, we got a couple weeks away and it should be fun. Taco Bell just came, but Jack Perry was trying to cut a promo about Darby and got occupied by a Taco Bell commercial. Hilarious. Darby Allin did cut promos, said that, people were wondering why he set Jack Perry on fire at Blunt Guts and get this over with, and then Darby said, well, then he have a reason or excuse to not show up at Wembley. And Darby just plainly said, well, you don't need to be at Rampage when he has a match. He doesn't need to be at Collision. He just needs him to be at Wembley, and that's all that matters. So, Darby and Jack Perry, I will say I'm looking forward to that match. So, there's that. Swerve Strickland had a sit down with JR. This, I will say, was intriguing because we know how good JR is, especially in these sit downs. It's certainly good timing for JR. It makes it feel important. Certainly that's the match, because JR talked about how the magnitude of Wembley and all in, how motivating it can be for an analyst or a commentator. I asked Swerve if it means the same for him as a wrestler or being the world champion. Swerve said it absolutely does, but knowing how that when he beats Bryan, his legacy will be Swerve's. So yeah, JR, we don't hear from him much more anymore, although these sit downs for a big match and commentary for a big match, it certainly works for pay-per-views. Hangman Page, coincidentally, well, we think, apparently he attacked Jeff Jarrett after the show, but he talked about how his goal So Renee Paquette documented the losses Hangman Page has accumulated since his return. And Hangman knowing how there's one man that feels fire, and in the end his goal is to take everything away from him. So there's a number of variables to this Swerve and Bryan Danielson match at Wembley. And it's certainly a question of how does Hangman feature in this match. Does he cost Swerve the world title? We'll see. We'll see. Orange Cassidy and FTR versus Roderick Strong, the Beast Moros, and Roosh. Honestly, it could have just been Orange Cassidy versus Roosh. That'd be good. But nonetheless, Orange Cassidy, I'm just not thrilled that much anymore for him wrestling. Just with his gimmick. Roddy, I love. FTR, I love. Apparently, Mark Briscoe and Kyle O'Reilly were affected by the conditions. Nonetheless, Beast Mortos, I mean, yeah. FTR, since the return, it's strange, but afterwards, they were interrupted by The Acclaimed and be held back. So I wonder, because they did have a bit of back and forths on Collision as far as their vying for the tag team titles, and the Young Bucks for All In. So you just wonder of, and that's the other thing, we didn't see the Elite really. I mean, we saw a thing for Jack Perry, but that was like a vignette kind of thing. So, yeah. What I will say, what's going to happen with the tag team titles for All In? I don't know. All I know is I like the Bucks, but they need to lose the titles at All In. I mean, honestly, what have they done with the titles again since they won them? The Patriarchy, as far as direction for Wembley, so it was hilarious. So Christian Cage was gifting the Trios Championships on Saturday. And he was like, one by one, he was like, he gave the title to Nick Wayne. And then he gave the other Trios Championship. And he was like, to Killswitch or Luchasaurus, he was like, you did not give birth to a prodigy. And he gave the other Trios Championship to Mama Wayne, Shayna Wayne. So that was hilarious because you saw the Patriarchy were there. Killswitch again without gold. That was hilarious. Even though he's a Trios champion, he's not seen with gold. So, but he announced because Buddy Matthews did return on Saturday. That was great to see. As the House of Black are making their intentions known with the Patriarchy and the Bang Bang Gang. So, Chris Cage announced that on Saturday's Collision, it'll be the Bang Bang Gang, Juice Robinson and the Guns, taking on the House of Black. And the winners will face the Patriarchy at All In for the Trios Championships. So, that's interesting. That's interesting. Do we get a non-finish? I don't know. It's certainly intriguing. We'll see. I mean, House of Black, again, their booking has been suspect to a lot of people, including me. And like to see them do better. At the same time, I love Chris Gates. I love the Patriarchy. The Bang Bang Gang as well. Although it's good to see Juice Robinson back, but Jay White has been out for a couple weeks. And they announced a Casino Gauntlet match for Wembley, so I wonder if Jay White's going to be present for that. And maybe this is the catalyst to see who the world champion faces at All Out. Maybe. We'll see. Camille, she won a handicap match. Mercedes Moné now had a bit of promo after. Britt Baker was on the big screen. She told Mercedes that she's not the future and says that as soon as you don't get your way, you take your ball and go home. Yeah. Yeah. As far as recent substance, it hasn't been great. As far as, Sarsa and match, you're good. It's going to be fun to see. Yeah. Do we see Jamie Hayter at All In? That's certainly a question. We'll see. Then the main event, Bryan Danielson versus Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett. It would have certainly been more intriguing, Bryan Danielson versus Jay Lethal, but no, we got Bryan Danielson for Jeff Jarrett. Anything goes. Ricky Steamboat was on commentary. I was going to see Steamboat back, but yeah. Anyways, they fought pretty much everywhere, and then Bryan won back in the ring. It was, I will say, brutal, fun match, but as far as intrigue, excitement level going in a couple weeks before Wembley, the main event, I don't know, but then Swerve cut a very good promo saying how Bryan's not a legend of TBS, talked about how he's not won a world title, and they're so clinging to this narrative that Bryan's not won a title yet for AEW, a world title. So, talked about the injuries and effects that Bryan's feeling after facing Jeff Jarrett. And Swerve basically said, imagine what I'm going to be able to do to you. So, yeah. And Willer Yuta was out there, and Swerve talked about, I need a warm-up. Kind of feel like I need a warm-up going into Wembley. So he said, what about next week? Swerve versus Wheeler Yuta. And Yuta was pissed. Said he's not a warm up. Should be a fun match for next week. We're going to get Okada and Claudio face to face, as apparently they're going to have a match set up. So that'll be good. But as far as Dynamite last night, fell a bit flat. So, hopefully it gets better next week. And then, see therefore. But nonetheless, there's that AEW review for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked it, leave a thumbs up. And subscribe if you guys are new or haven't already. I'm Joe Love. See you guys next time. Peace.